colonization means that you go there and basically go there to take over. That coming from a British white man is insane when your ancestors were the ones that were going to Africa, going to the Caribbean, going to Asia, and doing exactly that, colonizing those
Mm-hmm.
countries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? So you trying to say that people are coming here to try and colonize the UK when there's no laws, no one's come over here and said, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Has there been a change in the last 10, 15 years in terms of acceptance? Yes, because we've become a diverse and multicultural society. But at no point has anyone come over here and basically said, we're going to enslave you, we're going to take all your minerals, all your jewelry and all that stuff like that. We're going to take over this land. You're going to work for us. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take everything from you and then you can have it and you're left to your own devices. That is what Britain did in Africa. That is what Britain did in the Caribbean. That is what Britain did in Asia. Not just them, because obviously the French, Spanish, the US are all involved in that as well. But that is what colonization is. These are the characteristics. You have to be an entertainer, charismatic, engaging, obviously
Knowledgeable.
knowledgeable, and you have to teach the fans something in the game. You have to have some of these attributes. And unfortunately for Aluko, she has none.
Mm-hmm.
She has none, just like Michael Owen has none,
Mm-hmm.
as an example. So it's just one of them things where, unfortunately, it just is what it is. And the fact of the matter is you've come here and then you're whinging and whining about it and you're not giving the full like name names if you think that someone's gatekeeping you. Name names. Don't just come out and say Ian Wright and then apologize for it with your
Throwing,
half-assed
throwing,
apology. Name the
throwing
real
other,
names.
yeah.
Spartans! What is your profession?
Yes, people, another edition of Nights of the Roundtable Discussions where we discuss all sports all the time. Got my guy ST in the building. How we doing, sir?
All good, all good. Yourself?
Bro, just battling the elements right now, bro. I think
I
we're in
hear
a
you.
role reversal. We're in a role reversal from
Yeah, last
from
week it
from
was
last week.
last time was me. Now it's you. So
Nah, but it is what it is, bro. There's no way that um I was missing this, but yes, people, we are back. It's been, listen, from where we were last week in football to where we are this week in football. It's funny how things can change. But this is footy chat, but this is not this is not the footy chat that you are going to expect. That will happen in the next video. But there's two major issues that have happened off the field of football that ST and I felt like we had to discuss. So we're going to be getting into the comments that Jim Ratcliffe made on Sky News, and we're also going to be talking about Eni Aluko and her comments that she made earlier this week on a podcast, which both have caused huge reaction in the UK and amongst the media and social media and all the rest of it. So it's only right that we go and unpack both of these subjects and give our opinion on them. But as usual, before we start, make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Get the likes up, get the subscriptions up at the same time. Share, share, share. We are here, and don't forget to join our social media pages as well. Links are in the description. ST, it's only right that we start with obviously that corpse Radcliffe and
hmm
the comments that he made of recent. He was doing an interview on Sky News. Seriously, I'm just getting the quotes up. My phone did something mad, bruv, and it lost the page that I was looking. I had it. Right. Yeah, so he made some comments on Sky News. Um, yes. And they were as follows. I think it's only right that we give the context and proper context of what he said because, we got a bunch of keyboard warriors that'll be like, that's not what he said and blah, blah, blah. You're paraphrasing. Da, 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 da. So he was asked a question and his response was, you can't have an economy with 9 million people on benefits and huge levels of immigrants coming in. I mean, the UK has been colonized. It's costing too much money. The UK has been colonized by immigrants. Really? Hasn't it? So that is a big piece of what he said. I know he went on to
Mhm.
talk about other things, talking about the club and whatnot, and obviously other things in politics, ST. And obviously, we are a sports channel and we want to keep it on sport. He is he is a minority holder in Manchester United, so it's only
Mhm.
right that we have to address this. We obviously in the group talk a lot about politics and the rest of it, what's going on in the world, but obviously this channel being off sport, we're trying to keep it as close to sport as possible. But there's a people say you have to keep sport and politics separate, but there's always going to be a time where they cross paths. So it's
Mhm.
only right that we address this. Um, so first things first, ST, your
Mhm.
reaction to to these mad comments that Jim has said. What's your reaction to that, first of all?
I mean, the react. I mean, it's quite tone deaf what he was saying. There's a lot of elements to this, considering that he, for example, talking about colonization and migrants taken away in terms of financial affecting negatively economic growth.
Mhm,
He himself is not a taxpayer in this country. He's a taxpayer in Monaco. So in that instance, technically, you as a resident, technically of England, you are not paying taxes or contributing to the society. So you are basically staying in this country and not, in theory, creating growth or
mhm,
adding to the economic growth. So it's very tone deaf. Secondly, in terms of the sporting side, many players in your own team are technically migrants working in your country. They
mhm,
have to get working visas. They have to get all these visas to work in this country.
mhm,
You are basically alienating like 90% of your whole. I wouldn't say 80, 90% of your, no, I'm not even gonna say team, of your whole of your staff, really. So what can they expect from a man who thinks this way? They're not gonna trust you again as well. So I'm not, I was gonna say I'm very surprised about the comments that he made, but to be honest, I kind of knew he was on that sort of stuff,
mhm, mhm,
with the people that he wanted to appoint, they're of a certain demographic.
mhm,
Um, the players that he wanted of a certain demographic,
mhm,
the managers that he wanted of uh, of a certain demographic. So all this stuff doesn't really surprise me. I can understand the outrage of people. I understand why people are frustrated and angry. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I'm not angry. I'm not surprised because I expect this from people like him
mhm,
because that's how he was raised. He's probably raised in a family that thinks this way. But in
mhm,
terms of Manchester United, this will have business that this will be a detriment to your business because other outside entities who are not based in this country will look at this and like, if this is what for example, for sponsorships or anything like that, and on the field as well, looking for other players, they're gonna think, why would I want to be playing or be under an institution with a minority or shareholder like that who thinks these ways? Do the other people and the other people who've employed him, do they think this way? This
mhm,
is what happens. It's a ripple effect. So I'm not really surprised. Ratcliffe is someone that I've not really liked football wise, and um now his comments as well. So as you can see, I know a lot of people are getting angry and stuff like that. It's not angry for me personally. I just know what he is. Um, I didn't want him in the first place, even though there are things he's done, but I don't want someone associated with that because it's detrimental to a business. One thing about Man United, even though it's a very huge entity and it's still running across the world and stuff like that, what you need to understand, Manchester United is global now. So people globally will be watching this and be like, "Wow, how can our how can the owner think this way? What does he think of fans like us who are paying money into his pockets?" But he probably doesn't care about that sort of stuff. But hey, that's what I got to say on it. If you feel free to add what you got to add, but that's all I've got to say, man. And I know you got a lot to say, so I
Well,
know you got a lot to say.
first things first, because you mentioned the club. And the club have come out. Manchester United have come out and said, even though they didn't directly address what he said, what Jim Ratcliffe said, the, he said the club prides itself on being inclusive. Our diverse group of players, staff, and global community of supporters reflect the history and heritage of Manchester, a city that anyone can call home. Um, Manchester United reflects the unity and resilience of all the communities we are so privileged to represent. We will continue to represent our people, our city, and our fans with purpose and pride. So the club have kind of distanced themselves from obviously what Jim Ratcliffe has said, and not and they'll basically saying that it's not a representation of Manchester United, it's not a representation of the city of Manchester. And I think the club had to do that because obviously, as what you said, the amount of people that work there, the players, what Manchester United represent globally, the amount of fans that they have worldwide, they can't be seen to be in cahoots or agreeing with what Jim Ratcliffe has said. He put out an apology, basically apologizing if the language he
Oh,
used caused any offense. So he's not apologizing for what he said, and he's not apologizing for the context in which he put it in. He just apologized if a word was offensive. So it wasn't a apology. It wasn't an apology at all. It's just like, yeah, I mean what I said, and I said what I mean. But if
yeah.
there was one or two words that you didn't like, yeah, I'm sorry for that. But it had to be said. ST, obviously, this happened Thursday. It came out because I remember seeing it Thursday morning. I think it was Wednesday evening that this took place. And I've been going through it in my head. I'm trying not to go Malcolm X because I want to be unarticulate. I want to articulate what I need to say well, because the last thing I want is the keyboard warriors to be thinking, oh, look at him effing and blinding and shouting and hollering and blah,
Mm.
blah. And you are 100% right in what you said. It is tone deaf what he said. One of the most major points, which you obviously alluded to, is the fact that this man does not live in this country. He is an economic migrant. He moved
Mhm.
to Monaco, so he didn't have to pay tax. Right? This is a man that is worth, I think, in and around 4 billion. That's his net worth. Obviously, he has his company in Ineos. Right. So let's look at what he said. I think the first thing I need to establish is that he said there's 9 million people on benefits, and then goes on to say about the immigrants and blah blah blah. And I think one of the things that some people have misconstrued is that he said 9 million on benefits and then said immigrants straight away, and it was actually two separate things that he was saying. So he's saying there's 9 million people on benefits and it's not sustainable, and then went on to say about immigrants. Now you've got 9 million people on benefits in this country. That wasn't actually right. It's 10 million that are actually on benefits. But the majority of people that are on benefits
All right. Yeah.
working people, and they are contributing to the economy. But there are 6.5 million that are claiming that aren't working in the country. So it's not 9 million, it's 6.5. Just to get his thing right, because obviously he then went on to say about the fact that I think he said that the UK statistics were in 2020, I think the country was at 58 million and then it went up to 74 million, and that was incorrect. The actual Office of National Statistics says that the UK had 67 million people in mid 2020 and then 70 million by mid 2024. So again, his facts were incorrect in terms of the numbers. Is there an issue with immigration in the UK? Of course there is. There's no doubt about it. There is a problem. So in that aspect, I can somewhat agree with him. It's not sustainable for the amount of people coming in. However, here's the problem that I have, ST, with that. Immigration has been one of the biggest assets of the UK because it's what's kept this country going. The amount of people that have contributed to the country, the amount of people that have filled the gaps in the skills gaps. So, for example, just as an example, the amount of Eastern Europeans that have come over doing the trade, so roofers, builders, whatever you want to call it, they've filled that gap, right? So, not all immigration is bad, but the thing that I take issue with, ST, on this benefit thing with Jim Ratcliffe is that, all right, so he's saying 9 million people on benefits, not sustainable. This is the same man that got a handout from the government in December 2025 of £120 million to help him with his company. Is that not you claiming something? Yes, and part of it is to be paid back as a loan, but the other part of it isn't. There's a small chunk that isn't. That's been given to you by the UK government. So we're talking about all these people claiming benefits and whatnot, but you've just had to get a bailout from the UK government. Make that make sense, right? We're also looking in the context that you said there's 9 million people, which is incorrect, claiming benefits. You sacked 500 of them from Manchester United, the tea ladies, the people that work within the building. So you contributed to these people being on benefits because you went and sacked them. Now, whether you did it rightly or wrongly, you say you've made the hard decision of doing it. So you can't complain when you've sacked a significant amount of people from a job that they were doing for 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 plus years. So you've caused part of that problem. Obviously, it's an insignificant amount, but you still cause that, right? You don't live in the country. You don't contribute to the tax in the country. You moved to Monaco in 2020. That is saving. That has it's the estimation that has saved you 4 billion in taxes since you. So you're not contributing to the country. You haven't contributed to this country since 2020. ST. So when you put all of that together, it's like, how dare you get on your high horse and then try and say all of this stuff? It doesn't make any sense.
I'm sorry, just to piggyback on what you said, yeah. He also hasn't spoken about the majority of people that are on benefits. It isn't Asians, and because there's a lot more, it's the white working class
Exactly.
that are and this is what, and he's not, and who are born and bred in this country. So then what do you say to that? Are you saying they're contributing to the benefits? So why aren't they working? I'm not saying we don't know the reasons why they're not, why they are, why they're not, but this is the arguments. You can't go at economic migration and just in your tunnel vision say that this is the problem, which you could say it is, without addressing what's actually at home where.
Exactly. So there's never any specifics with these things.
Yes.
Because we know the narratives that's being portrayed.
Exactly.
Right. So you're 100% right. I haven't got the statistics on me, unfortunately. It's a good point that you raised. I didn't actually get that one.
Yeah, because I remember
Uh,
reading this, but I don't because in the Office of National Statistics,
mm,
they don't have it updating. But last time I knew the white working class
yeah, we're a massive
with a high
contribution
contribution to it. Yeah.
to taking the benefits. So it's
Yes.
like, well, what are we doing here? But it doesn't
Yeah.
suit the narrative. But ST, I think that's the first part of this.
Yes.
The second part of this is the UK is being colonized by immigrants. I That is a word. The meaning of the word colonization: the action or process of settling among and establishing control over the indigenous people of an area.
Oh God.
That is what colonization means, ST, in layman's
Hmm.
terms. Now, I've seen a certain man on Talksport say that the word he used was clumsy, but we know what that man is about. His wife says it all of what he's on. She works for a specific TV channel, which we know what agenda they push. So we know what conversations are going on in that house. But it wasn't clumsy, ST, because the interviewer, when Jim Ratcliffe said the UK is being colonized by immigrants, he said, colonized. Like he questioned it. Jim looked at him and said, yeah, it's being colonized by immigrants, isn't it?
Hmm.
So he knew what he was saying.
Of course.
Because he and even if the interviewer didn't ask him to repeat it, bro, this is a man that has been a success. He's a billionaire. This man's going into board meetings with wealthy people, shareholders, right? Having various meetings trying to figure out which way his company is going to go. Had to go into a board meeting with the Glazers. You think this guy doesn't know what words to choose and what words that he's going to use and the meanings behind it? It's not clumsy, it was deliberate. And it was deliberate for two reasons, ST. The first reason why it was deliberate is to push the agenda.
Mhm.
Push the agenda that immigrants and migrants are coming over here. We know the rhetoric. They're taking our jobs. They're trying to push this on us. This is what's going to happen in this one. I don't recognize my country. All of this stuff. But colonization means that you go there and basically go there to take over. That coming from a British white man is insane when your ancestors were the ones that were going to Africa, going to the Caribbean, going to Asia, and doing exactly that, colonizing those
Hmm.
countries.
Hmm.
Yeah? So you trying to say that people are coming here to try and colonize the UK when there's no laws, no one's come over and said, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Has there been a change in the last 10, 15 years in terms of acceptance? Yes, because we've become a diverse and multicultural society. But at no point has anyone come over here and basically said, we're going to enslave you, we're going to take all your minerals, all your jewelry and all that stuff like that. We're going to take over this land. You're going to work for us. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take everything from you. And then you can have it and you're left to your own devices. That is what Britain did in Africa. That is what Britain did in the Caribbean. That is what Britain did in Asia. Not just them, because obviously the French, Spanish, the US are all involved in that as well. But that is what colonization is. Do not use the word colonization and immigrants in the same sentence because it's your people that did this.
Hmm.
Yeah? The history book says it all. But it was there to push a narrative. Because the fact of the matter is, ST, is that you use the word colonization it was inflammatory language. He wanted a reaction
Yeah, he
because
did.
he knew, yes, there was going to be people that are going to go against him. But he also knew, yes, there's going to be people that are going to rise up and say, this is what's happening. And this is where
And
those
what?
people, this is where
Yeah,
those people are foolish.
exactly. And this is what I was gonna say.
Go on.
We are not based in Manchester as Manchester United fans, but
Mm-hmm.
there's a certain rhetoric of the actual Manchester United fans that are living in Manchester that are of the similar demographic to him that agree with what he said. And these are the more the homegoing fans and stuff like that. He knows if he can get them on side, it's still a bit part, but still an important part because those are the major fans that are invested into the city that are there. So
Mm-hmm.
once he knows that he can get them on side, it gives him power to know that yes, at least the core fans of Manchester United are with me because that's what they think. And I feel sorry, and I'm not basing all Manchester United fans just to get people. I'm
Mm-hmm.
basing the actual core fans who are like him and agree with him
Mm-hmm.
because there are a lot of Manchester fans up north which do not believe in what Ratcliffe said, but unfortunately, within the core fans of the Manchester United fans, they actually do believe in the rhetoric that he's pushing out.
And it's not just Manchester United fans; it's people in general, because
Yes.
we know what is it's pushed an us and them dynamic. And
Hmm.
the thing for me, ST, is as I said to you in the beginning before I said it, immigration is a problem in this country in terms
Yes.
of there's too many people. But you know what is the problem with what I have with him and all those other people that believe in this? I'm not going to mention the one that's running the main thing because he doesn't deserve um, to be named. But
Hmm.
they never put the word illegal in front of the word immigrants. They never put that in there. And if he would have turned around and said illegal immigrants, it's not nice
Then
to
yeah.
hear, but at least then you'll be like, all right, cool. Because there are people that come over here, they're not supposed to be here, and they are reaping the rewards somewhat of going under the radar and being able to claim, which is absolutely fine. But the reason why they don't put the illegal in front of it, ST, is because even though when they get further questioned on it, they'll say illegal immigrants that have been come over here on the boats and whatnot, blah, blah, blah. They know that the average man that feels like his country has been taken over isn't just talking about illegal immigrants. He's talking about the ones that were born here, the people that of color that were born here. They don't want to see any of us. They want all of us to go. If they could all put us on a boat and ship us out, they would. And that's why they won't put the word illegal, because illegal immigrants means, all right, cool. So you're only really talking about the ones that are coming over here on the boats and whatnot and getting it here illegally. You're not talking about the ones that we want because we want them all out. We don't, it's not just them, we want them all out, which is why they don't put it in there. And it's clever from them because, yes, when they get pushed to question on it, they'll then explain themselves properly. But if they get away with not having to explain it, it's like, yeah, see, he gets it. He gets it. We can send them all back. None of them deserve to be here. Da, 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 da. And that's the thing. The divisiveness of this language, ST, is what stokes everything up. And what it is, simply divide and conquer.
Hmm.
The biggest joke is that the working class English man has more in common with migrants than ever before. But as far as the rich are concerned, as long as we can keep them fighting with each other down there, they won't care about what we're doing up here. And that's what they don't seem to understand. So while Jim Ratcliffe is not contributing to tax, having his way with his money and spending it wherever he pleases, getting bailouts from the UK government, you're over there paying tax, looking at another man who you think is a migrant that is also paying tax and infighting and not seeing the bigger picture. And that's the problem with society today. However, this is not about politics.
No, it's not.
This
It's
is
not.
not about politics. But when we bring it back to Manchester United, um, can is there a? I don't think the club. Obviously, I don't think the club will do anything about this.
No.
I don't see them doing anything about it. And if they do, it'll all be behind closed doors. Is there a situation, ST, where if, say, the fans were to unite, is there a situation where they could force him out?
No.
Mm.
Because there's too many people that agree with what he says. And also,
And which is why
Manchester,
he did it, because he knew that,
yeah.
yeah.
And the issue is as well, we can say what we want online. It's the people that are, and it's the honest, also it's that Manchester United are not the sort of club anyway that forces people out of their club for their own opinions. That's basically what we're not Napoli, for example.
Yeah.
Who, we're not someone who just goes on
Or Marseille or
goes on
something like
doors.
that.
Yeah. We're not the sort of club, and even like I said, people agree with what he's saying. So
Mm.
there will be backlash from people like us because we're obviously first generation children of migrants that have come to
Mm-hmm.
this country.
Mm-hmm.
We also live in an area which is very diverse,
Mm-hmm.
and we also support Man United, and we're one of the global Manchester United supporters.
Mm.
So, but at the same time, we're not in the city. We're not around people like that. So, to him, whatever we think, it doesn't affect him because he doesn't care
Of,
about us.
of course. And this is the point. The point is, because if I'm Omar Barada,
Yeah, I'm looking into this.
like, surely
I'm
I'm
side
looking at
eyeing.
man a certain type of way after that.
Yeah, of
Because,
course.
but this is the problem. Someone like Omar Barada should be like, really, really, because we work side by side. So what are you saying? Because I'm here too. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
Omar Barada must be looking at man sideways because I think he's Spanish, but he's got Moroccan roots or something like that. I might be mistaken. People can correct me in the comments.
yeah.
Um, but I'm just like, people that work in Old Trafford that have to see people that work in the training ground, the players.
Mhm.
So Ahmad, like, bruv, like, I think I saw something like, if they got rid of all the immigrants from Man United on against West Ham, I think only 3 players would have been able to play. No,
Yeah, Luke
two,
Shaw,
or Shaw
Luke
and
Shaw and
Maguire,
Maguire.
because
Maguire, that's
Cobby's
it.
Ghanaian, so it'd just been
Yeah,
Shaw and
Kobe's got it.
Maguire.
Yes, it's just them two.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
even Fletcher's you, I don't know if Fletcher's you was born here, but obviously it's, well,
he's
actually,
Irish or something. It's
yeah,
Scottish, I
he's
think.
Scottish, but yeah, but then again, it's UK in it. So yeah, it'll be those 3. No one else would have been able to play. It's
No.
crazy. It's crazy to me for you to be able to do that, and then seeing um, the players that you have and the staff that you have and whatnot. But his whole backup to that was like, well, I didn't mean people that are here and contribute. I'm talking about the ones that don't. And that's the only time they'll bring that up, is when you question them on it and look sideways.
Bro,
But in the initial, it's just a case of, this is what I said,
you
and
know
that's
what
what
that
it is.
apology, you know that apology made me laugh so much because you know how when people when gal apologize, yeah,
Yeah,
to you and like and they say sorry for making you feel that way.
yeah, that's it. That's exactly what it is.
I
I'm sorry I
said
made you
this.
feel that way.
I look at you like, are you mad?
Yeah.
That's stupid.
That's exactly it. But
That's mind games.
that's crazy. But look, at the end of the day, I think that, listen, as a society, you're going to agree or disagree. I don't have any issue with people saying, look, the illegal immigration in this country is out of control, because it is. It's a strain on the NHS. It's a strain on all the services. But my whole thing is that what I won't accept is the fact that it's not just the average man that's thinking about illegal immigration and illegal migrants. They're talking about people that are here already. The people like us, from a country who went and destroyed so many people's countries. Yeah, got into war, World War II, then invited our parents to come and help rebuild your country, right? Doing the jobs that you didn't want to do, working in transport, working in the hospitals, doing manual labor, right?
Mhm.
Invited us from the Caribbean, invited us from Africa, invited us from Asia to do all of this stuff and set up roots, right? And now all of a sudden it's a case of, oh, well, thanks very much, but now you can go. I don't think anyone would have an issue with that, ST.
No.
All we want from you, give us back what you stole, give us back what you took, and we'll go. So all the minerals, all of the stuff that you took, that has value, give it to us back, and we'll go. Because
Mhm.
then your country's left with nothing. Because you had nothing. Everything you have, you stole. That. It's as simple as that.
Mhm.
It's crazy to me, ST. Absolutely
That's
crazy
crazy.
the rhetoric that these people use. Like
Mhm.
to say, and the thing is that people will turn around and say, "Oh, you guys just don't understand. We're talking about the illegal ones." Then say that.
Exactly.
But that's not what's meant by these people because they know there's a vast majority that mean the people that have been here for years.
Mhm.
And it only ever seems to be the people of color. It's never um, the people from Ukraine. It's never the people from Spain, Portugal. It's never them. It's always people of color. Crazy, bro. Crazy. But I don't know
Nuts.
what's going to happen in terms of United. Obviously, I don't expect anything to happen in terms of any action. I know the FA is looking into it.
Mm.
Um, but from a Manchester United perspective, I know they've come up with a statement. And it's down to the fans what we choose to do. If you unite, I know obviously, ST, as you said, there's going to be people that agree, but if we unite as one, United fans, as I said, the main thing I say for anything, any sort of thing like this, and just basically turn around and say, all right, cool, seeing that's the case, cancel my season ticket, not go
Mhm.
to games. I ain't gonna go to the club shop. I'm not gonna shop for Manchester United stuff online. When you come over to do your tours in pre-season, I won't be going to that either. See how quickly things change. But unfortunately, we live in a society that people aren't going to do that. So people like Jim Ratcliffe are going to be free to say these things and somewhat get away with it, and then put
Mhm.
half-assed apologies. There wasn't even an apology, right? Because he didn't apologize for what he said. Absolute nonsense. But listen, I'm done wasting any more energy on that. Let's move on, bro. So from one person that needs to shut their mouth
So another one.
to another one. And I don't mean that rudely, ST, because at the end of the day, you know how it is. We want to see our brothers and sisters succeed. But
Mm.
you know when someone just doesn't help themselves,
Yeah, exactly.
right? So Eni Aluko was on a podcast earlier this week.
Shout out the
Obviously,
90s
yeah,
baby
nice
shows.
baby show.
They do
Yeah,
good
yeah,
work. They
yeah.
do
Big
good
up them,
work. They
man.
do good work. Yeah.
Um, and basically, I'm gonna paraphrase it because I'm not getting it up. But obviously, she had the thing with Uncle Righty where she said that she thought Uncle Righty would have helped her, and she saw him as a bit of a gatekeeper for women's football, and didn't allow others to didn't bring others through. Um, So she then went on the 90s Babies podcast and basically said the women's Euros final on the BBC. I think they had Steph Horton, someone else, and
Farrah Williams,
yeah,
Karen
well,
Carney.
Farrah Williams was in the
Williams was
stands with
not
her,
standards, yeah.
but yeah, I think it
Yes.
was Steph Horton.
Karen
Um,
Carney,
no, so BBC was Steph Horton. What's the one with Ellen White? Ellen White and
Ellen
Neda
White,
Manuha. And then on
yeah, oh, yes,
ITV, it was Karen Carney, Emma
Carney,
Hayes, and Ian Wright. And
right,
basically, she
yes.
came out and said, I've got 100 plus caps for England. Farrell Williams has X amount of caps for England. We were both in the stand. So, like, why was Ian Wright in the studio? Because it's the women's game. And she said, Neda Manuha, I don't even know if he's got an England cap. But why was he needed in the studio? As usual, it got backlash. Um, at ST,
Go on.
honestly, I don't. I hate putting our people down, especially when it comes in these avenues because there's not a lot of us. But what are your thoughts on what she said, first of all, before I say anything? Like, what do you think about what she said? Obviously, did you see when she went on Talksport as well?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've
So
I've
let
seen
me
I've
know what
seen
you think of
everything,
what she said and your
bro.
thoughts on what transpired this week.
So we're gonna break this down, yeah, because there's a lot of things that Eni said. So, she mentioned I'm gonna speak about Talksport because that was another thing that she said. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
address the ITV issues.
Mm-hmm.
She she spoke about in regards to people of color having a. I'm gonna stress the things that she was correct about that I think
Mm-hmm.
she was correct, and then I'm gonna go into the other in terms of actually having a space for black people to provide and to excel themselves in media. I fully agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
The racist comments that she's getting in regards to her features, her looks, is
Mm-hmm.
terrible, disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand from what she said, um, now fans are using it as an excuse to judge her
I'm racially abuser.
physically,
Mm-hmm.
which racially abuse her, which is absolutely disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what she was talking about, and I fully agree with her, especially as a black woman. And
Mm-hmm.
it's nasty. It could be my sister, my mum.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes me sad about that. Um, she was right in that sense in isolation with a lot of, and she did mention that certain people did get opportunities in general,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of men do not have their. She also no, she mentioned about women's football as well that men should be doing men's football and women should be doing women's football. I
Well, she
agree
didn't
to
say
extent.
men should be doing men's football. She just said women's football should be for women.
Women,
That's
yes,
what she said.
yes, and that's yes, personally that's correct, and I do agree with that sense. However, this is where it all starts to go down. I've heard from plenty of people that I talked to this about, and it makes sense. They instead of women, she also mentioned this herself. By the way, that's another thing. Women have to be there, and she wants women to be for women, but men to support. This was her words, and I agree with her in the sense that if you're gonna grow the women game, you have to branch it out to everybody. You have to
Mm-hmm.
make it accessible for men and women. So she is right in that sense. However, this is the man on my screen is the man even before all this was mainstream was the one always breaking down barriers not only for black people but for black women and women in general. He
Mm-hmm.
was supporting the women's games way before when Hope Power was there. All these other footballers were there. He always, whenever he gets the time, will back the English goalkeeper. I think Mary Earps was her name. She will back
Mm-hmm.
all these English girls as well, all the time. He even said he helped out Eni, and I believe him because he helped Eni, and she even confirmed that she helped Eni to get the job at the gig at ITV. She helped Eni to do all these things. So this is the very man who, instead, we don't even have our own things at the moment. We have a person of his caliber in power who is starting to not bring only you, but he's always bringing all the women in. He's bringing the man in. He's doing all these things to help our community. and then you bash him and telling him like you need to fall back when he's the one who is the one who always puts the women's game in the limelight, who's always trying to bring attention to the women's game. That's the man you need to encourage to be like, yes, do this. And it's not his fault. Like they keep asking him to do all these things. Listen, Ian Wright is a very likable person. They're going to ask him. He's a character. However, my issue is he's brought you in specifically into this space. And the fact that you feel so entitled to disrespect another person. And the same thing you're doing is the same thing you said about Neda Manua. You're basically doing the same thing to him, what you're doing. You're saying just because he doesn't understand football, he just doesn't, he hasn't had the amount of caps or English caps you do. He doesn't know how to talk about football, but he's a professional footballer. He can still talk about football. Like he's played a lot of games in the Premier League and the Championship. So don't disrespect him. She comes across as very entitled, she comes across as very classist as well. Because I know of the way she is. She's got a law degree. She's very intelligent. However, she doesn't like to. She speaks down to people. She's quite conceited in her language that she uses. And two things can be right at the same time. Simon Jordan again is someone I despise personally. His rhetoric as well is similar to what Ratcliffe is, but he made some good points. She isn't likable. She isn't willing to learn. And even that fake cast apology that she gave Ian Wright as well was what I was saying before. Saying this, I'm sorry if it offended you. I didn't mean to do that. It offended you in that way. But now, what makes me annoyed is that you're backtracking, and that you're saying, "Nah, why didn't he accept my apology?" You in life, you don't have to accept someone's apology. If someone does something wrong to you, if I do something wrong to you, let's just say I do something wrong to you, TJ, and you choose not to apologize to me, and you choose not to accept my apology, I can't then say, "Oh, why are you not accepting my apology?" Apology is an act of humility. You can't police how that person reacts. I understand that because Ian Wright not accepting it has kind of given given like a negative connotation for her and for the community to use it as a excuse. But at the same time, it's your fault. You should have never done it in the first place. He is not entitled to apologize for you, especially after he helped you. It comes across as very entitled. And this is what the fact is. She doesn't look like she wants to listen. She seems so stubborn and stuff like that. Everybody's against her and everybody's wrong. And let's be honest, I'm gonna be very honest. She's not a good pundit. She's not likable. She's someone that doesn't sound. She doesn't have charisma. She's not. She comes across as very patronizing and very conceited. And to be honest, two things are right at the same time. Yes, the way she is, a lot of points of what she said are correct, but again, a lot of the way she is as well, she's not taking responsibility for the way she is. She's even saying that she's not a good, oh, they won't have hired me if you're a good pundit. That doesn't matter. It's what the people think about you, especially in the game that you are. For example, if people are viewing you, people like you, no matter what. But if people are constantly criticizing you, and it's not just, and I'll be honest, it's not just a selection of the racist white people and stuff like that. There's other people like us. I criticize her, you criticize her. We don't think she's a great pundit. She doesn't have the charisma. But it's like she doesn't want to take that instruction on board, and she's like, yes, I am great. Yes, I am great. It's someone who's, she seems very unlikable. She just seems tiring as a person. And she seems like she'll stab you back. Her publicist needs to speak to her. I can't even lie to you, because I don't know whose idea of is it to go on these podcasts, and it kills me to actually agree with what some of the stuff Simon Jordan says. But at the end of the day, on this channel, the Knights of the Round Table, we tell the truth. And let's be honest, she was blatantly wrong. And then you're putting another black man down in Neda Manua to emphasize your point. So do you really care about the feelings of another black person? The people that you say you want to help out, the community that you want to build? No, because you brought him out. So where is it there? You don't bring out any other people. But anyway, that's my rant over. But yeah, go on.
No, listen, there's a lot of points that you said that were right, and look, as you said, anything to do with her appearance
Hmm.
is wrong. But unfortunately, this is a society we live in where people on social media are allowed to say whatever they want and get away with it. That is completely wrong. So, in that aspect, I think that we need to stand with her because when it comes to
Yes,
critiquing her appearance, her looks, that has nothing to do with the topic of conversation. Bottom line is she's not a good pundit, bruv.
she isn't.
She's
She's not.
not. And it's the way you come across on TV. But the fact of the matter is that you then going and crying about it and drawing people out. You're just making things worse for yourself and for everybody else. She should have never, ever, ever, ever said Ian Wright because any person on the road could have told you what was going to happen to you once you brought up Uncle Rai. Listen. I don't dispute that there could be things behind the scenes, and Ian Wright could be a certain type of way, and that's not me saying it. I don't know him personally. I
Hmm.
do know a couple people that have interacted with him personally, and they've got an opinion on him. But irrespective of all of that, he is seen as a national treasure. So you going after Uncle Wright after everything that he's done for the women's game was idiotic. There's no other way of putting that. It was idiotic. And then, as you said, the half-assed apology. You going after Neda Manuha. Why? Like, you have, and the key word, ST, which you repeat again and again and again, and I'll repeat it again, is the sense of entitlement. You
Hmm.
having 100+ caps for England doesn't mean that you're a fantastic pundit. Don't get me wrong, it helps. You be having 100+ caps for England, obviously winning all the trophies. It helps in this day and age because we can see the pundits now. They've all won major trophies and played for England a whole bunch of times. So it does help, but it only gets you in the door. Doesn't mean that you're going to stay there. So what I found funny, ST, is that she was willing to attack Ian Wright and Neda Manuha, right? And say, well, why were they there? This, that, and the other. If you were such a great pundit, why? Okay, yeah, all right. So there were 6 people, 2 of them they're men. There was 4 other women there. If you were such a good pundit, why weren't you there instead of one of those other 4 women? There's 2 things, ST, that I have a feeling that's happened there. The first one is that all right, the men are the easy target because it's like, well, it's women's football, so we should be doing it. So the men are an easy target for her to be like, put this out there. Why are they doing this? This, the other. Neda Manuha is even easier because it's like, well, was he really any good? That's basically what you're saying in terms of the catch that he has for England. Second part, ST, is because she knows the reason why, but she's not willing to say it out loud. You know the reason why those 4 were chosen, but you're not willing to say it. You're not willing to go the extra mile. So that means that you're not down for the cause that you're trying to push for because you're not willing to upset the apple cart too much. Yeah, I'll upset the people of color because that's the easy route. But we're not going to upset these lot because that could basically cancel me.
Hmm.
So you're not down for the cause that you're trying to push for. Yeah. But the fact of the matter is, you're not a good pundit. You're not charismatic. You're not engaging. The stuff that you say, this is the same woman that said the whole conspiracy about Declan Rice and obviously Man City Pep putting in for things so Arteta could go to the board and blah, but nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Same woman that I think she was talking about a player and couldn't remember his name and just made up the most random name ever and was like, yeah, him. Like, there has to be a level of professionalism with this, right? This is the same woman that said, "Oh yeah, Richarlison's doing great, 19 goals in 40 games. That's a goal a game." No, it's not. It's more like a goal every 2 games. It's all these little mistakes that you make, and then you're coming out and saying, "Woe is me," when things aren't going your way. And the fact of the matter is, it's got nothing to do with anything else apart from the fact that you're not a good pundit.
Hmm.
I agree with her to a certain extent, saying the women's game should be for the women's game, but I also believe the men's game should be for the men's game. It's just my personal preference. It's just my
Okay.
personal preference. But the fact of the matter is, you need the men to support you. Because without the men supporting you, the women's game are only going to get so far. There's a reason. Don't get me wrong. The success of the England's women's team in this country
It helps.
has helped massively. You know what the other thing is? Ian Wright being on the screen. Because what Ian Wright does is he's loved by the women, but he's also respected by the men. So if he's on the TV doing women's football and people can hear his voice, they're more like, "Oh, Ian Wright's." Do you know what I mean? All right, maybe I might take a look. And remember, as you said, ST, this guy's been working from when no one wanted to know. The Rachel Yankee days. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been bigging up women's football. Don't get me wrong, he's not the only one. There's other people behind the scenes that we don't really talk about, but he's the man on the screen. And the fact of the
Hmm.
matter is, the more people that are watching, the more money that can be invested. Because
Hmm.
don't get me wrong, I do believe that women's football is underpaid, but it should never be getting the same as the men. And that's a completely
Agreed.
different subject. That's a completely different subject, right? But the fact of the matter is that you can't have it both ways. You can't have it, "Oh, women's game should be for women, but women should still be in the men's game." Don't make sense.
No, no.
It doesn't make sense. And look, at the end of the day, I'm a huge fan of Kate Abdo. I'm a huge fan of Gabby Logan. She's one of the OGs.
Yeah, very, very good.
Um,
Yeah, when I was a
um,
kid, she was.
um, Laura Woods, she's
Yeah, I don't. She's all right.
she's
She's all
okay.
right.
Kelly Cates, I like her. The one
Kenny
the one
Cates.
on Sky Sports, the lady on
Anita,
Sky Sports.
and also, yeah, Anita Jones as well. And now
Yeah.
she's
So
very, very good. A fellow black woman in the industry who I think
yeah,
is charismatic and has done
yeah.
well.
So that's my whole thing of, but those are presenters, ST. Those are presenters. The presenters are presenting is different. If you're talking about pundits, I'm a fan of Alex Scott as a pundit, not as a presenter.
Yes,
As a pundit, not as a
she's
presenter.
very, very, very good. Very
She's
good
a very good
analysis.
pundit. Presenting is completely, yeah, nah, not for
Yeah,
presenting.
she analysis is very good.
Emma Hayes, given the managerial perspective when she was doing the women's Euros,
Very
I
good.
actually quite like
Very,
that. So
very
there
good.
are women out there in the game that people do like. There are ones that I don't like, bro. I don't really want to get into naming names, but there's quite a few on
Yeah,
Sky Sports
yeah,
and TNT
yeah,
Sport that I just like,
yeah,
brother,
yeah,
like just
yeah. I
shoot
don't
me
know.
down now, bro,
Yeah,
because honestly, I can't listen to this. Aluko's not the only one. She's not the
no.
only one that I'm just like, nah, bro, like just get them off. But because of DEI, everyone had to change their ways. Diversity, equality, inclusion. So that's how this opened the doors for people. Obviously, after the whole thing with Richard Keys and Andy Gray,
Yes.
everyone had to change. So part of the reason why Eni Aluko is here is because of DEI, whether she wants to admit it or not. Actually, not part of it.
Yeah.
It's the main reason. Because
Yeah.
if it wasn't for that, she wouldn't be on TV. And I get to
Yeah.
a certain
Exactly.
extent. Obviously, she's a black woman. Obviously, we know how hard it is. But it doesn't. You've got the opportunity, but no one don't want you. She tried to turn around and say, "Well, I've taken a step back from it." No,
No, they don't want to.
it's
No.
just you're just not good. Listen, there's nothing wrong with, and don't get me wrong. There's male pundits. Listen, she
Who I
talks about
tell you.
caps, bro. Michael Owen won a Ballon d'Or. Michael Owen won a Ballon d'Or. He got various caps for England, right? I
One
don't
of
want
the
to hear
highest
this
ever
man
got.
talk about football,
Oh,
bro.
he's terrible about football. He's
I don't
shit at
want to
football.
hear him
Oh,
talk about
when
football.
it
So
comes
that's
to
my whole
sports,
thing,
yeah,
ST.
it's
Is that
true.
it
It's
doesn't
true.
matter about the caps.
No,
There's
it's
just
true.
certain people that you just don't want to hear. Don't get me wrong. There's divisive ones. Like a lot of people I've seen in the comments. A lot of people were like, Jamie Carragher technically shouldn't be on TV after what he did
No,
to
no.
that kid. However, a lot of people say Jamie Carragher, oh, he's terrible, bro. One of the things that I take very seriously from these pundits is if they're engaging, if they're charismatic, if they teach me something. I love watching Carragher on Monday Night Football and his
He's
analysis.
funny.
I love watching his analysis on Monday Night Football. Like I think he goes in depth. He's one of the best out there, in terms of his analysis. Right, a lot of people don't like him, but I do. Gary Neville on commentary. I like Gary Neville on commentary. I know a
Yeah,
lot of people don't, and I get it,
but yeah,
but I like him on commentary. Do you know what I mean? Like Rio Ferdinand, I can't stand him as a pundit. I cannot stand him as a pundit.
yeah.
Like he just doesn't give me anything. So there's
It's
one.
because it's his increased bias, and to be honest, it's like a fans talking. It's not
Yeah,
like
yeah. Which I don't mind to a certain extent, but you're not giving me anything. Owen Hargreaves, I love, one of the underrated
oh,
ones.
he's very good,
Bruv,
very good,
Owen
very good.
Hargreaves knows ball and
Ball,
is
very
very
does.
underrated. Yeah. So there's
Yeah,
various people out there that are pundits. You got
yeah.
another one, Micah Richards. A lot of people, oh, he's a clown. Why is he here? Don't get me
Well, he
wrong,
can
his
be
analysis isn't great, but he's got the charisma. There's a
no, but
reason. There's a
no.
reason.
I was gonna say with Michael Richards, yeah, 70% of his analysis is not good. But when his analysis is good, it's very good and it's underrated. It's just that people don't look at it. It's because he's engaging, he's charismatic.
Because
But you have to be one of the two.
he's an entertainer. But the fact of the matter is to you guys that I mentioned, Jamie Carragher and Micah Richards, there's a reason why those two, along with Thierry Henry and Kate Abdo, are on one of the most successful
Hmm.
football shows. Right? There's a reason why people are looking at that blueprint, and Sky Sports has had to relax a little bit
Hmm.
because they saw how much people engage with these people. And that's happening obviously now with Daniel Sturridge. I remember when Daniel Sturridge first came in, everyone's like, why is this guy on TV? This, that, and the other. And it's actually like, yeah, he does actually know ball.
He's very good
Do you know
actually.
what I
Yeah,
mean? So my whole thing is that there's various different characters. You got Roy Keane, obviously. He just tells it how it is, just to give a different dynamic. When Jose was a pundit, oh, brilliant, fantastic.
very good
But
pundit.
obviously, that's a manager mindset.
Yeah,
So
very insightful,
these are the characteristics. You have to be an entertainer, charismatic, engaging, obviously
knowledgeable.
knowledgeable, and you have to teach the fans something in the game. You have to have some of these attributes. And unfortunately for Aluko, she has none.
Hmm.
She has none, just like Michael Owen has none,
Hmm.
as an example. So it's just one of them things where, unfortunately, it just is what it is. And the fact of the matter is you've come here and then you're whinging and whining about it, and you're not giving the full like name names if you think that someone's gatekeeping you. Name names. Don't just come out and say Ian Wright and then apologize for it with your
For an
half-assed
for an
apology. Name the
for in
real
other
names.
yeah
Name the
for
real
in other
names, but
for
you're not
in
gonna
your
do
black
that.
people for in your other black people on the bus because
The
it
thing is,
doesn't.
I don't. St. If there was a credible reason,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
then I'm
There
fine
wasn't,
with it. I'm fine with it because at the end
but
of the
there
day,
isn't.
if you're gatekeeping or you're keeping people down, you deserve to be named and shamed. But you just chose to go with Uncle Righty and then instantly you regretted it because it's kind of killed your career. And I don't want her to lose out and not be able to work
Because
because
of
of
her
this.
opinion.
No,
Yeah,
no, because of calling out Uncle Righty.
yeah,
My whole thing is that I'm sorry, but the whole reason why you're not getting work is
because you're not
because
good.
you're just not good. And the
I
thing
agree.
is, for me, ST, if the TV doesn't work out for you, start your own podcast. Look how many people
Yeah,
that started their own. Lineker and them man have made success. Gary Neville and them man have made a success. Rio's
even the
made a success. No, Rooney's doing the BBC thing, but Rooney's another one. I hate hearing him be a
yes,
pundit. Like
Rooney's
listening to Rooney having to try and articulate
it's
himself is
terrible.
like sticking needles in my eye. It's horrible to listen to.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Um, but yeah, start your
Look,
own podcast.
scores and butt and all these guys. Uh,
Skulls on butt. They're all
even
doing it. So if you believe that you are really that person, then you
do
can
it
go
yourself.
down that route, build
Yeah,
your fan base, and that may get you back into TV. But at this moment in time, because of what you've created, people aren't going to go near you now, and they weren't going near you before because she tried to say, I was a part of ITV and this that, and there's great broadcasters and great pundits there, so I must be great too. No, That doesn't
That's not how it
mean
works.
that. For the prime example again, Robbie Savage on TNT. He's a commentator. He's a pundit. Everyone knows he's crap. Why they still
Let's look
employ
at
him, I don't know. But everybody knows
let's put
he's
it
rubbish. It doesn't mean
let's
that
put it
it doesn't mean that everyone is good. That you're gonna be good, bro.
let's
It
put it
doesn't
into a
mean that,
football team. Let's put it into a football team. For example, let's just say Manchester United, the players in your back in your green screen at the back here, all those players. But there were other players in Manchester United that weren't great as well. You know what I mean?
bro. Fucking Blomfist
Yeah,
being one
but
of
you
them,
still,
bro.
but you're
Ronnie
still part of a
Johnson.
winning team. You're still part of a winning team.
Do you know what I
It doesn't
mean?
make sense. It doesn't necessarily mean
Quinton
you're good.
Fortune, bruv.
Yeah, yeah,
Luke Chadwick.
yeah, man. Them brothers.
Them, do you know what I mean? So it's like it's not just a case of you can be part of a team and the chemistry that you have could be the reason why you are there for the chemistry, but it doesn't mean that you're all great. And you have to build these things up. You have to build these things up. These people, yes, some of them got thrust into TV, but the reason that they stayed is because they brought something to the table. And
Exactly,
unfortunately,
exactly,
you don't.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
a sad situation. So my whole thing is like, look, I'm out in the spotlight. Again, I repeat, anyone talking about the way how she looks and thinking that she shouldn't be able to work is completely wrong. But you have brought this on yourself. And
Agreed,
the
agreed.
main reason is that you brought up a man that was an idol to so many people. Probably the first black man they saw playing football that they could relate to on TV. He
Hmm.
then kicked down the door of punditry, yeah, when there weren't none of us doing punditry, and he's still in the game today. You made the wrong choice, and it's all right to accept that you've done that. And you saying, "Oh, I apologize," and he didn't accept it is because your apology was worth nothing because it
It wasn't
wasn't
sincere.
one. And he's still allowed to not accept it, and you move on. And you then
And you
decided to
proved
bring his name back up for no
that's what I'm
reason.
saying. You proved him right. You proved him right.
Exactly.
Like he's right to not take your
Exactly.
apology because you brought it up again. So look at you now. You didn't need to say that. You should have just left it. But now you had to open your mouth and say all these things. He was completely right not to accept your apology. You've put
One,
this on yourself. I have no
one,
sympathy for you.
100%. And just finally on Noda Manuha, because people in the UK we don't really see him. They love him in the US.
Yeah, they love him. He's funny.
He's regarded as one of their best pundits in the US in terms of analytically how he does things.
I've heard him. He's
He's
good. He's
very
good.
very neutral in how he comes across. So, and I think that's the main reason why he was there to try and bring that sort of audience across. Because in the US they like him over there. So let's not poo poo over Neda Manuha and what he's doing either, because it's still better than you. And
Yeah, man.
I want to make
She's
it
dead.
he's better. But it is that because the sense of entitlement, I must be there. It must be me. Me doesn't work that
Bro,
way. It doesn't work that
entitlement,
way.
man.
And you know how it is for us, especially people of color, where we have to work twice, triple time as hard as everybody else.
Especially a black woman who's
It's
even lower.
exactly,
Exactly.
especially
Yeah.
in sport. So you didn't help yourself, unfortunately. But I hope
Yeah.
that she does take the information on board and creates her own podcast, builds up her own fan base, and she does something because I don't not want her to work. But I think this reality
Mm,
check was needed for her. But
mm.
yeah, listen, people,
Boy,
it's been
this is a big one.
it's been a one. It's been a one. I'll say that. But listen, let us know what you think about the comment section. Let us know what you think about Jim Ratcliffe's comments. Do you agree with what he said? Do you disagree? Listen, like if you agree, let us know why. I'm willing to debate on that. Do you think he's right in what he said? How do you feel if you are a Manchester United fan about what he said? Even if you're not a Manchester United fan, how do you feel about what he said? Is it representation of what you think, or is it the complete opposite of what you think? And what do you think Manchester United should do going forward? Is there a way that in which they should force him out, or is there a way where we just have to get on with it because that's the way how society is nowadays? And one more thing on that, the as much as I disagree with what Ratcliffe said, you know who I don't feel sorry for, ST? The Manchester United fans that wanted this man.
Yep,
Because they were
yep.
all on their high horse talking about the Qataris and what's going on in their country. And now you've got this man saying this, and you want to do this outrage thing, you deserve what you get.
Mhm.
Um, Let's know what you think about Eni Aluko, her comments. Do you think just what do you think of her as a pundit? Do you think that she's good? Do you think that she's misunderstood, misinterpreted, or do you think she's getting treated unfairly because of her punditry? I'm not going to discuss the race stuff. We all know that's disgusting and wrong. Do you think that she has a way in which she can gain some redemption and try and come back from this? Or do you just think, you know what, she's just not good and it is what it is? We want to hear from you. And as usual, before we go, make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Get the likes up, get the subscriptions up, and at the same time, share, share, share. We are here, and don't forget to join our social media pages as well. Links are in the description. I want to say thank you very much to my guy ST as usual. Thank you very much, sir.
No problem, bro.
People, we will be back. You need to check out the next video where we're going to get back to football. We got a lot to unpack on Footy Chat, so make sure you head over for that. NBA talk. We're still in negotiation with the truth and trying to get that out. Hopefully, it will be, but it's more looking like that it won't be than it will be. We might have to offer him a bit more money for him to do it. But listen, people, stay safe out there, be safe, and we shall see you very, very soon. Peace.
Peace, 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 peace.